Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening from wherever we are. So you are welcome back to day 2 of our Power BI training. Yesterday we started with introduction and we spent more time on data cleaning yesterday. So we finally transfer our data into Power BI. So after transforming the data and load the data to Power BI, so on the right side here, you can see the data. If you collapse this and expand it, you will see calendar table, customer, product category, subcategories, product, return, sales table, and territory. So these are the data that we have. And then to view this data, if you want to confirm this data, you want to check anything on this data, we have on the left side, remember I said this is a report view, we have table view and we have model view. So let's go to table view and see what we have there. Go to click on table view. Now you will see the data on the right side here. You can see our data now. This calendar table. If I click on customer, you can view the customer table. Remember, the data does not reside in Power BI. Data only connects to Power BI. We have product category, we have subcategory, we have product, return, sales table for the 3 years, and the territory table. So, that's what we have under this table view. However, under the table view, we can also collapse this. If you click on any of the table, you can see that when you click on a column, we have this column bar at the top here, where you can do a lot of things. For example, this is a country. As a country, I can change the type. Data type here should not just be a text, but we can do more and we don't summarize it. We can select country. So you can see that we can change the country. And at the moment we do that, if you go to view, we see that under territory, this country has changed to, has added a new icon, which is a kind of which shows that it's a geographical column. So let's go back and create, let's do the same thing for continent. If we have anything like that, we can have, okay, we have continent here. Okay, there is. Click on continent and same thing is going to happen. If you have state, you can add state, but this is region. I don't know. So maybe you can just use county or something like that, or province for that. So that is a more of region. So that is what we do on the table view. Then we have the model view. The model view, if you remember in Power Pivot, we created model where we link tables together. The same thing applicable to Power BI. So here we are going to create model. We are going to model our table and link the tables together. Let's see where we have our tables and bring them closer to each other. We still have one down here. Okay. So I think we have all our tables there. So if you look at this table, you can see a line. You can see different lines joining them together. Different lines that joins them together. Let me put sales in the middle. Okay. Then let's bring calendar here. That will be easier. Let me reduce this. table. Hello.
Hello.
Okay, I think you want to say something, right? Okay. Now, I think we are good now. I think I'm going to arrange it very well so that the line will not be crossing each other too much. Okay, now you will see that by default, Power BI has automatically detected some relationship between this table. Remember, when I click on this table, you can see that two tables are highlighted. Let's scroll down. Let's click on this. You can see product subcategory key and the product subcategory key was selected, which means that Power BI has created a relationship between these two tables based on this heading. If you check this one, you will see the same relationship between using the column product category key and product category key. So the same thing applicable here. When you click on this line between them, you can see that they are connected by what? Product key. Okay, how do we create the relationship ourselves? And let me click on the center here. This center, I will double click on it so that I can edit the relationship. So relationship has been created by default. But if you look at this, you can see one here, you see asterisk here. You see one here, you see asterisk here. What this means is that the relationship between them is one to many. What do I mean by one to many? It's a one to many relationship. What do I mean? Now, there's what is called fact table in Power BI. We have what is called fact table and dimension table. If you look at this table, hello, are you with me? Are you? Mr. Kuwan. Hello?
I'm with you, sir.
Okay. If you look at this table, territory key, look at this key. The key appears only once. Each of these key appear once, not more than once. So this is called a dimension table. If I click on this also, let's look at another table. Look at calendar table. Each date only appeared once. The dimension table. You get me? If you look at customer table, each customer ID will appear only once. That is how to identify a dimension table. But if you look at sales table, for example, you can see that sales table, you can see that customer key appears many times. Let's look, for example, let's pick one of the customer key here. Let's unselect all this and pick this and this. Let's click OK. So this appear 2 times, while this appear 3 times. But in customer key, the same number will appear only once. Are you getting me? So it means that this customer key in this table, it is called a primary key here. Here is the primary key. That's why it is 1. But in this table, sales table, it is a foreign key. We call it foreign key here. Why we call it what? A primary key inside this dimension table. But when it comes to this place, it became what? A foreign key. So the same thing applicable to others. So let's come back here. Now, here between this table and this table, we have one to many tied by what? Customer key, which means this is here in this table, customer key is a primary key. In this table, customer key is a foreign key. Now let me edit. I want to edit relationship. Let's double click on the center, or you right click and edit. You can see we have sales table, we have customer table, and what columns connect them together this column and this column. And you can see down here we have what? Many to one. Because sales table is at the top. That's why we have many to one. If you have customer at the top and we have sales down, and we select the customer key and customer key, you can see that it has changed to what? One to many relationship. So it's okay. That is a simple way by which you can edit relationship. And you can also create relationship directly from here. If you look at this calendar does not link up with anything. Look at calendar table. It's not linking up with anything. Why? Because the date here in calendar table is date, but the date there is order date. We have order date here. We have stock date. We have return date. So there's no date. Assuming this is just date, Power BI will assume that the two columns are related and it will create a relationship between them. But because the date, the date name here, the name of the date is order date, while this one is called date. So now there are two ways by which you can create a relationship between this one. One, you can just drag. You can drag relationship. Where is it? The date. You can just drag the date and place on this date here. This is shorter method. Just drag the date and place it on top of the other one. You can see that automatically the relationship has been created. Now, look at the territory also. Territory also is not linked up with anything. Why? Because when you look at the territory key, we have sales territory key. But here we have territory key. And if you look at return, we also have what? Return. We also have territory key here. So territory key, but sales territory key. Here is the foreign key. Here is the foreign key. If you place this on each other, it's going to be many to many. This is not advisable except on rare occasion. You can see that it's telling you that relationship as cordial many to many. This should be used if it is expected that neither column contain unique values. So this is very on rare occasion. That's when you have what? The dimension, the both side dimension. It should be one to other. So let's drag the foreign key to this now and try to create a relationship between territory key and this also. So that's the first method by which you can create a relationship between them. The second method is by using this relationship at the top here. Click on this relationship. So you can see that we have all the relationship here. I will click on new relationship. Then I will select, I think the relationship between the sales table and return table. Let's check. Is there any relationship between them? No. But we have between product key. We have between product and product key is there. So we can just check. Are they related before? Between territory and product. Okay, one is created before. Just delete it and create it afresh. Delete the result, the relationship, and let's recreate the relationship. I'm going to click on manage relationship now, and I will click on new. So I will select the first table. Either of them can come first. It doesn't matter which one come first. So we have territory. Then we have return table. So we have product key and we have product key. It has even detected it by itself and click OK. That is one to many. So by that, we have created a relationship between them. Remember, while working on table view, we changed a property of these columns by using the top option. Also from here, we can also do the same thing. I can right click here. You can see relationship here. So this is territory key. So when I click territory key, you can see relationship here. We have the name of territory key. And you can see the synonyms, the row label, select the row label. We have continent, this and that. If I click on continent, it's asking me if it is hidden. It's not hidden, right? You're not hiding. Okay, you're not hiding it. Click on advanced. So under advanced, sorry, okay, I think I've selected. Okay, I've selected the continent here. Okay, most doesn't have unique value. Okay, only this one has unique value, which is the territory key. Okay, it's asking if it is hidden. If you want to hide this column, if you want to hide the column, we can hide the column from here also, so that the column will not follow us as it is hiding everything. It will not follow us into Power BI again. We will not see it. But yes, I can remove this and remove this. So all these ones will show in Power BI under the view. Okay, so that is by the way, I think I'm checking the advanced option here. So okay, if you click on the date type, you can see this is, you can change the type of the data here, just like we did, and we have other options here where you can select either categorize, categorize, and the rest. Here. You can see what other options that you can do. So this column, what do you want to do with this column? For example, let's look at customer key. Our customer key is numbers. It's full of numbers. Everything is number. When I click on this, you can see it has done summarize, which means that if I want to use this column, I don't want Excel. I don't want Power BI to summarize it by using sum or anything. So that can also be, I can change it from here, and I can also come here and do the same thing under the VF view. If I click on customer key, I see customer key, and here you have it as whole number, and here I can also change this categorize or not categorize key. So that is if you want to summarize by what you can also create a kind of default summarization. If you want it by default to hard, you can create a default setting. If you want to use average by default, you can just make it average straight away. So every time you bring it into your analysis, that it is average that it will calculate for you. So that is that about the modeling here. And here, sorry, before we leave this place, you can see this. Look at this relationship here. Relationship between product category and sales. Can you see the relationship between the two of them? There is no direct relationship between product category and sales. Product category is directly related to subcategory. This also directly related to this, and this directly related to this. So this is called a snowflake relationship. The relationship between this table and this table is called what? A snowflake relationship. There's no direct relationship between the two of them. But with this joining and joining and joining, we can analyze our sales table by what? By any of this. So before we leave it, let's try to key in to hide some columns that we may not need. All these key, we don't need them. It will only make our addition to belong. All these you can hide them directly from here. We don't need them really to make. We just make annual income. We might need it. Customer key, we don't need it. Education level, we don't need their full name. Full name will not be useful unless we want to see the customer that give us the most sales. Let me keep that. And we will see the top 5 customer or anything. Number of children, occupation, status, homeowner. I think everything here might be useful. Okay, let's come here. Customer key, we don't need it. Other line item, other date might be useful, but we are going to use the date from calendar table. So you can hide that. We have this already here. So we can use the other line item. What does that stand for? You know, there's other number, other quantity, product key, we don't need this. Territory key, we don't need it. Don't need the key since we already have. Sorry, easy. Let me hide this. All this one I'm clicking, I'm just hiding them so that the list in my list will not be too long in my under my view page. It will not be too much. So all those things that I may not really use. Description, I may not use description. All content I may not really use. I will just hide them directly from my view. Category key, SKU. May not use SKU for anything. So I think with this we can go back to the view table. So if we go back to view table now, look at the sales column. Look at this sales table now. You will see that all these ones that I click on are already hidden. Go back to report view, and here if I expand my table view, sales table, you can see that we only have 4 columns left. Instead of having a long table here, we only have what? Only 4 left here. So now, the next thing we look at now is let's start building our visuals one by one. I've shown how to build visuals yesterday by using by selecting a chart from this point or a visual from here, then drag and drop any item here to that. Now, and yesterday also I made mention of measures. You can see that if we bring ourselves into this place, you can see we have 24.91. This is called explicit value or explicit measure. We also have a measure which is implicit, which can be used as many times as possible. The only thing this can do is just to build visual. But for advanced analysis, we use what is called measures for most of these summarization. All this summary, these are summarize the data by summing it up. But instead of using this column, instead of bringing column into a visual or end of the visual, it's always good to use a measure to solve that problem. And you will see why measure is very good now. So I'm going to come here. I'm going to name this column. This is a measure, a total sales. Total sales. So by using Excel formula, how do we get total sales? How do you think we can get total sales? Let's use Excel formula now with our knowledge of Excel or knowledge of any other thing we have used before. What do we get total? We have this is the column we want to solve together. We have a column called turnover, and from there we want to create a total. What do we do? Use sum function. Sum function, and which column are we adding together? Turnover table. From sales table. From sales table we have turnover. Exactly the same way we write it in Excel. Just hit OK. Or you click on this mark. Then you click tab. You click enter key on your keyboard, or you mark it from here. Now you have total sales. Can you see now that inside my calendar table now I have total sales, which is wrong. So I need to move it from this calendar table to another table. So you can see that when I click on it, all the characteristics of the table, or what do you call it? The properties of the table are shown up here. So the home table currently is calendar. I don't want it here. I can just move it to what? Sales table. So it has moved from calendar table now. If you check your sales table now, you can see it here with this calculator button in front of it. And better still, you can even do like this. Let's go back here. Go to Home tab, and let's click on enter data. Let's create a separate table for all our DAX functions. So we can call it all measures, all DAX, anyone you like, or measures, any name of your choice. But I will use all measures so that I can have it. I want to have it on the top. That's why I use A. So that when I use A to add A to it, it will show at the top here. That's a new table. So that's why we're going to put all our DAX formula instead of scattering them all around. Put one inside the customer sales product. So now I think it's coming up. You can see it here. So let me move this. Let me click on this again. This measure again. Then I click on the measure. So I expect it to open the properties here. Let me go back here. Let me click on it again. Now I can move it from this table now and take it to all measure. That's how to move measures from one table to another table. Now it's under this table. Let me hide this now. And hide this. That's column 1. Can hide it so that it's not useful. Okay, that is that. So if I bring the total sales there, if I bring it here, I'm going to get the same thing. I see 24.91, 24.91. We've got the same figure. But why do we need this measure? Because we can still reuse this measure to create another formula. When we want to dig deeper into the analysis, we cannot rely on the column solution alone. We're going to use this to do more analysis. So you see as we move on in this learning. That is just a simple way by which you can get our total sales by using what? Sum function. Okay, we want to know the number of customers that we have. This is the customer key. This is the table view, and we have a customer table here. Click on customer table, so you can see the customer we have. But we want to know how many customers do we have. We want to know how many customers do we have. How do we get that? Can you tell me how you suggest how we're going to get the number of customers we have?
That is the sum count.
Sum count. No, is there anything like sum count or count?
Yeah, counts.
Yes, we can count. But in this case, instead of just count, there's what in DAX function, both in pivot table and pivot chart, we have what is called count rows. You know, each of the rows stand for what? Stand for a customer.
The customer.
Yeah. So now let's go back to view now and click on new measure. New measure. You can say measure. This is a measure coming here. You can say total customer. Number of customer. You're going to call it what? Count rows. Count rows. This is it. Count rows. Then it's asking which table is it counting row from. Just type customer table. If you bring customer, just double click on this and then close the bracket. Now we have the number of customer created on the right side. Can you see under new measure now we now have the number of customer. Let's test if that is working too. Click on your visual and just check this. So it means it's working. Number of customer is already here with us. Is it clear to that level? How we got total sales and number of customers? That is that. Then the next thing we're going to look at from the DAX function, we are working on DAX. What we are doing now is called DAX. We created some DAX also inside Power Pivot. So this is DAX function. So let's create another function. Just look at the number of male customers. I want to find out the number of male customers now. Of male customers. How do we get that? We are going to make use of what is called calculate function. This calculate function is one of the most important DAX function that you will use in Power BI and Power BI. Calculate function. What does it do? What does calculate function do? Let me try to explain from here. Customer key. From customer table here, I want to know how many male customers do we have and how many female customers do we have. I want to find out that. And how to do that is that we're going to tell, okay, from the entire table, from this table, calculate, count where gender equals to male. Are you getting me? And we'll say, okay, from the number of rows that we have here, that is just a simple way of doing it. From the number of rows that we have here, that we have calculated, number of customers here that we have done, calculate the number of male customer from this row where gender equals to male. So let's go back to our view and new measure. Where are we? Are we inside our measure? Okay, I think it's there. So measure now we say male customer or married customer. Married. Let's use married and single customer. We want to see our product. We want to see from that part how many married and how many. Well, so if you have the analysis, you can do it on gender based. You can do it on any basis. Depend on what you want to achieve. So married customer, we will say what we have is calculate. We start from what? Calculate function. It's asking for expression. Calculate what? It's okay. From the number of customers that we have, number of customers that we've created earlier, from number of customers that we have, comma. Now, next thing is what? Filter. What do we want to filter? We want to check where, what is the status, what do we use for customer here? For the married, I think it's marital status. We have where marital status, where marital status equals what? Double quote married. The same way we write it in Excel. Double quote and close the bracket. Where customer status, where customer marital status equals to what? Married. Calculate number of customers where the customer marital status column equals to what? Married. And it's okay. Now we have the number of married customers here. So if I click on this and I select the marital status and new KPI, you can see the number of marital status that we have. We have 10,000 married. Let's look at the single customer. Now, I think we have only two options there. We have only two options here. We have only married and single. So we can just say, we can just use number of customer minus marital status. Let's check it. I think we only have two options. In the case of gender, you cannot do minus because there is NA. Remember, we have male, female, and NA. So if you minus total from a male, you will still have female and NA together. So you can't do that now. But in case of marital status, I think we only have two options, married and single. So to get number of single customer now, it will be very simple. Just go back to view, then new measure, I think there is a cracking from your hand, from your this thing. You can mute. Okay, thank you. So here we have number of single customer. Single customer. Single customer. Single customers is going to be what? Total customer. We can do the same calculate function again, or you can just use total customer minus 3. There's no total customer. Number of customers. Number of customer. Right? What am I writing? No of customer minus married customer. Married customer. Why in Excel can work based on cell column, cell by cell. You can do that in Excel. But in the case of Power BI, it works on rows and columns. You cannot work on a single cell. Either we work on a total column, on a total row. So we have this now. Let's check if it is working. Check this. So I think we now have it also here. Okay, it's not showing here. Down here. Okay, let me scroll down. We said that later. This is it. We have 8 customers, 8,000 single and 10,000 married. So that is just the introduction to our DAX function. So you can see how that function can be used. From the number of customers now, we're able to create other measures. From this also, we can still create percentage of married, percentage of married and unmarried. So click on new measure again. You can see percentage of married customer. Percentage of married. Now, it's very simple. The same way we do mathematics, you can use divide. Divide function. Numerator should be what? Married customer. Married customer. Comma. Which is denominator? That is the number of customers. And I will close the bracket. So that is the percentage of customer. Let me select this and check if it is working. And check this box. Or I drag it inside this. Sorry, my system is not responding. Let's wait a bit. Okay, let's click on this again and try it. Let me remove this and drag this inside. So it's working fine, 0.54, but we want it as a percentage, right? Select it again, select it, so you can see the properties here. Currently it's on auto and it's on general format. Just select percentage. Now we have it as what? 54.09. You can reduce number of decimal to 1 or 0 decimal point. So that is how to use. You can see that we are still building on, and we are building on another formula. That is the essence of using the DAX measure in the analysis, compared to just drag and drop a column. If I just drag a column, that's the end. The only thing I can do there is to create a chart that will show me the chart of. You can just create a chart, or we need to filter the sales customer from female customer to get the total or get a map or whatever. But with this, we can use this directly to create visuals. We can work on this directly. We can focus on this directly and create our visual. Okay, now let's do the last one here with the percentage of single customer. Let's do the same thing so that we don't leave that out. And I'm clicking on this This time around, I will not use divide again now. I'm going to use the normal mathematical sign, which is divide. Okay. Percentage of single percentage of single customer. I will write number of the single customer divided by forward slash total customer, the number of customers. So you can see that either way, we're going to get the same thing. We use the divide function, or we use this normal forward slash function, hit enter. We're going to get the total number of a single customer. So let's check if that is working. Also, I'm going to use this card and bring the number of single customer. So 46%. And let's check it in percentage. Click on this. You can change the properties to what? Percentage here. And then we also change it to what? One decimal place. One decimal place. So we can see that we have 54.1 and 45.9% married and single customer. So it means that we have more married customers. Perhaps our product is for married people, possibly. Okay, that is that. Next thing we look at is we have what is called new column. The measure, you can see that if I want to click on when you select this, and you can see that we have new columns also. Under the column table, you can add new column. All those things, so all those things that we did under Power Query yesterday, all those things that we did under Power Query yesterday, some of them can also be done under Power BI using DAX function. I will start from date. So let me select the calendar table. Yesterday we created Okay, so I was explaining the date DAX function when the system went off earlier. So I will click on new column. Let's see how we can use DAX function to extract information without going back to Power Query. So new column can come here to year 2. We already have 1 year, so we cannot name the same table with 2 names at the same column with the same name. I say year 2. So to extract year, we use year function. We use year function and we call out the date that we want to use. Call out the date is not coming up. Date is not coming up. Then we start from the table. The table name is what? Calendar. Calendar date. Then we close the bracket. So now from calendar date, now you're going to create a new year for us. You can see the year. This one we created from that function, or this one we create from Power Query. Power Query makes life easier for beginners, while that function is for the advanced user. We also have, let's create another one for month. How do we create month? Yeah, the more advanced we go, the more that function we learn also. We just learned the basics now. Let's talk about month. Month 2 also. So to extract month, we use the same function like in Excel called month formula. Month, we have calendar date. I will close the bracket. So we can see. Then the third one I'm going to show us is for the month name. We have the same function for date also. Day also will extract this day of week for us. Oh, sorry, day will extract 1, 2, 3 up to 30, 31 or whatever for us. While we have the weekday. Weekday will give us the January, Monday to Friday. So now the next one we're going to look at here is let's create a new column. I'm going to remove all this column for learning purpose. Let's just do that. So we have month name. Month name. So in Excel, we use text function to extract this in Excel. We use text function for this. But here in Power BI, we use format. We use format. Format calendar date. Calendar date. Format. Double quote. We want the month name, right? M M M M. M M M M. Double quote. Close the bracket. So we want to format the calendar date as M M M M. Hit enter. Oh, the month name already exists. Month name too. You can see the month name here. So that's the way by which we can, and the difference between the column we created now is that you can see the one we created now has the kind of summation calculation sign in front of them. And you see the month, the year 2, month 2, month name 2. You can see the kind of summation sign on the table, which shows that this table was created with what? The DAX function. I'm going to remove it now. Delete from model here. Delete name 2, model, delete from model. And you can also hide. If you want to hide it, you can delete, you can hide. But since we already have one want to use already, there's no need keeping them. To just make our data to be heavy. Delete from model. Okay, I think, okay, I don't know if the recording stopped earlier. Let me stop it at this point and then start the recording.